Howdy folks, Danny coming at you from Bulldog Smith Farms with another video knife review. What I've got for you today is a Para 3 from Spiderco. The little brother to the Para 2, which is the little brother to all the other military family of knives. And this particular one comes in brown G10 that is luxurious. Did not know G10 could be luxurious till I got this Spiderco. Has a 4-position clip. It comes tip up, but you can change it to tip down, left or right-handed. All right. Get that little guy open. It's super easy. Closes with a compression lock. If you don't know what that is, a little tab right there. You just push it. Closes right up. If I can do it with arthritis and gout and carpal tunnel, anybody can do it. So even though I'm not all smooth, one-handy, flippy, you know what I'm saying, but if I can use it, then anybody can. And so if you've got problems like me, these knives are a great answer. Not the only one out there, but it's one of them. And it's brown G10 and 15V steel. Got your little Spiderco bug right there. CPM 15V on the blade. On the back, you've got BBB for Big Brown Bear. And made in Golden, Colorado, USA, on the planet Earth. Ain't that something? Now, let me give you a little bit about the specs on it. It's a sprint run. If you don't know what that means, like I didn't a year or so ago, that means they only made so many. They made them, they quit making them, and if you want one now, you have to buy it from somebody on the secondary market. However, they make all kinds of Para 2s in different handle materials, different colors, different steels. Just this particular one with these handles and this steel was a sprint run. Now, I'm trying to do these for people like me that don't know everything. I don't know everything, but I never will. And I started out not knowing anything about these knives. Are you like me? Are you new to this and you think, that's an ugly knife? Why would anybody like that knife? Look at that hump on the blade. Look at that round hole. What's up with that? Hey, I was saying the exact same thing a year ago. Then people were talking so good about them. I said, well, I'll find out. So I bought one. And actually, it was a Para 2. I'll show it to you in a minute. And then I was like, they make one a little bit smaller. I'm going to have that one too. And then especially this one, I really wanted brown. I love green and I love brown. So that's right up my alley. Now, we're talking about compression lock. We're talking about a blade length of 2.93 inches and a blade thickness of 0.145 inches. Overall length open of 7.2 inches. Overall length closed of 4.29 inches. And a weight of 3.4 ounces, 96 grams. You know what? I'm going to go back here for our brothers over there in Europe and stuff. If you happen to be watching this, open length is 74 millimeters. Blade thickness, 3.7 millimeters. Overall length open, 183 millimeters. Closed, 109 millimeters. And the weight is 96 grams. I meant to do that, so I just turn around and go back. It's all right. It has a full flat grind, and it's super slicey. Made in the United States. And Spiderco makes knives in China. They're a lot less expensive. They make them in Taiwan. They're not a lot less expensive, but they make very good knives in Taiwan. and they make them in the United States, and they make some in Italy. Sean Houston Triple B logo. That's Big Brown Bear. His name's Sean Houston, and his Triple B logo is engraved on the back. And I told you it's a sprint run, which means a limited run. Limited amount of them made. Limited edition release. All right. Now, that's the basics, right? That's the basics of this knife. I'm going to try to show you a few knives that match up with it and size-wise. Now, let me get them open. Let me get this one open. And I don't have an overhead camera yet, so I'm doing the best I can until I get one. All right, here we go. That is its big brother, the Para 2. All right. Just a little bit bigger, but substantial. About the same thickness, right? This one's just a little bit more of an EDC, easy to carry. And there's a story behind that. All right, let me show you something else you might know. That is a Benchmade bug out. This isn't the base model, but it's a bug out nonetheless, just the same as any other bug out. It just has aluminum and rich light handles and a little bit better steel, or better is relative, right? So you can see about the same size as a bug out. Bug out, a little bit longer even, and about the same thickness, you know. Pretty close in thickness. And weight-wise, something else I got to get, a little scale. But pretty close. Now, this isn't the lightest bug out, so this knife might actually be just a little heavier than this. I think it is, just a little bit. The base model bug outs are so light it's crazy, or the carbon fiber ones. Now, I want to get those two closed up so I don't cut myself. I do that enough. All right, I want to show you a couple knives that we all might know from just the traditional knife kind of world. And that is, this here is, of course, a buck. Dadgummit. See what I'm talking about with all that hand stuff? All right, there we go. I got it now. There you go. Put back up a little. So right there, you got a buck 110. Good bit bigger than that Para 3. And a whole lot heavier. I'm not carrying this knife in my pocket. All right, that's going in a sheath. Now, let me show you something else. If you're a traditional knife guy like me, you probably know what a case trapper looks like and about the size of it. And that's it. Case trapper's longer open than that Para 3. So you're talking a knife that you can carry in your pocket real easy. Real easy. Let me close these guys up. Same thing. Safety first. And if you're around knives enough and you mess with knives, you know that you're going to cut yourself. You're going to get cut if you mess with knives. Now, let me get a little rag over here and shine it up just a little bit. And all fingerprints and stuff get all over everything. And try not to cut myself while I'm doing it. There we go. Now, it is a beautiful beautiful knife. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the history of, not specifically Spyderco. That's a big story in itself, and maybe I can just hit a few points. But I want to tell you about the history of where this knife comes from, the family of knives that it comes from, and why. Spyderco, it's named after the Spider car from racing in the 60s. Sal Glesser's dad was a big racing fan. And so there's a whole lot of things to do with these knives that go back to that racing tradition. The Spyderco history military line began with the original military model in 1996. I had no idea in 1996 that there was such a thing as a Spyderco knife company at all. But y'all probably did. I was pretty busy at the time with a full-time band, full-time job, full-time family. You know, there's a lot going on, shooting archery tournaments, hunting and fishing. It designed by founder Sal Glesser as a lightweight, hard-use folder after being asked what knife he'd give his son in the military, leading to the iconic paramilitary, smaller, and the paramilitary 2 refined series, with the latest evolution being the military 2 featuring the strongest compression lock, blah, blah, blah. So they did the militaries, and that led into paramilitaries. And the idea was, this is a bigger, heavier use knife. People were saying we want a little bit smaller version of that. So they made Para 2. We want a little smaller version of that. So that they made Para 3. That's kind of how that arc goes. It was inspired as a design that would be perfect to use in the military. And that's where the military line came from. And it was meant to be a strong, reliable, yet lightweight folder for tough field use, incorporating features like the Spyderco round hole and G10 handles. And those G10 handles are a lot firmer than the lightweights, you know, with the GFN handles. And this knife and those knives in general became a benchmark in the knife world at the time. This is all stuff I just had to learn. And this is what I'm saying. You can, if you don't know anything about these knives, and you've always dealt with more traditional knives, you can learn about it. It's not scary. The Military 2, the M2, was a moderate update, a larger modernized version of the classic military, incorporating refinements seen in the PM2, which is this knife, a little bit bigger. They made a few refinements on that. They took that backwards into the other line. The key features are robust compression lock. That was a refinement, and larger stainless steel liners that enhanced the strength, and a 4-position pocket clip. That was the thing that came along, you know, later down the road after they had been making these knives for a good while. Military line's core identity, design philosophy, it combines lightweight construction with maximum strength and functionality for serious use. And you could take this knife and do just about anything you need to do with it. Now, you're not going to be batoning wood. That blade ain't that big. I bet you could do it on some little wood. Who else besides me had never heard of batoning firewood until like yesterday? I mean, you ever heard of a hatchet? I don't need to use my pocket knife to split firewood at the camp. Innovation extended Spyderco's legacy of pioneering features like the round hole and pocket clip for tactical and civilian use. I did not know this, and I will tell you, Spyderco is the first company that ever put a pocket clip on a pocket knife. If I'm wrong about that, let me know. But that is through the research I've done and seeing all kind of interviews with Sal Glesser, who seems like just a cool guy, right? They were the first to do that. They were the first ones to do a hole for opening the knife. They were the first ones to do a lot of things. Compression lock, they invented that. One-hand use, they were the people behind that. It seems to now, if you have knives like a bug out, like a hinderer, like this beautiful TRM, one-handed use seems ubiquitous, right? It's on everything. But these guys invented it. It's kind of like, a whole lot of people can play the guitar licks that Eddie Van Halen created, but he's the first one that did it. He took guitar playing to a whole nother world, right? Sal Glesser took the knife world into a whole nother place. And I, for one, am very thankful for that. There are a lot of amazing knives out there. It's an entire world to explore, and I'm disabled, and my body don't want to get out and hunt deer hard like I used to. There for a good year and a half, I couldn't hardly do nothing. I was bed restricted for months and months and had to do all kind of rehab and all kind of stuff. Well, I needed something to do. And I always loved knives since I was a little kid. I always had pocket knives, always carried a knife, loved case knives. My cousin Rodney carried a buck knife. That one right there, 60th anniversary. I did not know until this knife came out that it came out 2 years before I was born, which is the year my cousin Rodney was born. And he toted one of them his whole life, and I bought that one in his memory. And it's got this little special thing that says 60-year anniversary on it. And it's going to stay with me. But I won't carry on all day. But I did want to tell y'all that there are all kinds of things to learn in this knife world. Steels, handle materials, designs, these pocket knives that we always carried, and this one is just like the one my pop carried, same year. He had several of them, I imagine, but the one I remember being 10 years old and wanting it, of course. And there is so much to learn Um, and if you love knives already, it's a wonderful thing to get into. And collecting is, I will say this: if you have an addictive personality, like I do, I don't know, maybe you should just stay away from pocket knives because they'll start eating up your money. But um, the Lord really blessed me with the ability to have something to do to keep my mind engaged and learning, and this is one of them. And farming and things that I come from, but got away from in my adult life, a lot of that too. But this I could do when my body won't do that other stuff. So I want you to remember, the word of the Lord is sharp as a razor blade knife, and it'll cut you to the bone if you ain't careful. So y'all be blessed. I hope the Lord blesses you with everything you need and some of what you want. And I hope God is good to you. And I'll see you on the next one. Y'all have a blessed one. I'll see y'all on the next one.